Britney Spears has been promising a bombshell on Justin Timberlake, and it just dropped.
Hey up everyone, it's me, Steph, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, joined again by our erstwhile leader, Andy Signor. How you doing this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for everybody bearing with our technical difficulties. I'm recouping. Steph's tech problems are getting better, but thank you. We couldn't stop the news though, and this was a big one that just got revealed. There's been a lot of speculation about what Britney was going to reveal about Justin Timberlake, and this afternoon it is now leaked. Apparently, he wanted her to have an abortion when she got pregnant with Justin Timberlake's baby. Allegedly, she's saying he didn't want to be a father. Now, we're going to go through the quote in specific. The book piece has come forward. In fact, let's just get straight to it because there's a lot to digest here and what this means. It makes us look at things that we've seen Britney go through, like the Diane Sawyer interview, Justin's interviews. It puts everything in a whole new light, and I'm curious where you guys are going to stand. But here's what is said apparently in the book. It was a surprise, but for me, it wasn't a tragedy. I loved Justin so much. I was always expecting us to have a family together one day. This would just be much earlier than I'd anticipated. Spears writes of the pregnancy in the book. But Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young. She writes in the book, I don't know if that was the right decision. If it had been left up to me alone, I would have never done it. And yet Justin was so sure that he didn't want to be a father. There was one more portion, I think, at the end, right? She says here, yeah. She says, running the experience of the, try not to say the word, the A word there. The termination, to this day, it's one of the most agonizing things I have ever experienced in my life. Now, Spears did have two kids, obviously, with Kevin Federline, Sean Preston, and Jaden James. But man, this is a doozy, Steph, to think the baby of JT and Britney. I mean, I got a fanboy for a minute, like how of a musical genius the kid would have been. It's just all the things one would think, like, my gosh, Britney was so in love with Justin. It's so clear. And Justin went off and painted himself as the guy who showed the world that she wasn't a V, right? She was an SLUT sleeping around. And yeah, he got it. He tapped it. And everyone applauded him at the time while she was then being forced to answer to Diane Sawyer. Oh, you broke his heart, Britney. Now we know, no, it was actually Justin who broke her heart. Not only broke her heart, clearly this relationship, but would let this baby come out. I mean, this is a lot to digest. But yes, you got the clip. Let's go back in time, guys. Let's replay some of these moments now, knowing that in the relationship, it was Justin pushing for a termination of their love together. Go ahead, Steph.
Justin Timberlake is in the house. And I just want to ask you one question. Did you Britney Spears? Yes or no?
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
Okay, I did it. No,
Oh, what a nice gentleman, right?
Proper nice
what a gentleman. Bragging about taking Britney. Now, it wasn't her V. He had acknowledged later in other interviews, did a bunch of stuff that, oh yeah, she had slept around, not like it was anybody's damn business. But so nice of a man who kisses and tells like that. And then, of course, he makes this whole Cry Me a River video and becomes the victim in the situation, which I'm hoping we'll learn more about all that stuff in the book itself. But there was then the Diane Sawyer part, Steph, that you queued up. You reminded me, making her cry during my God, I will never, ever forgive Diane Sawyer for this interview where she just completely just destroys Britney for no reason. Clearly just so sexist, so awful, talking about how much he loved you and broke her heart, and then prompting Britney to do that crying moment. Was it 20 years ago? My goodness. Steph, thoughts on this?
It just puts this interview in a much more harrowing picture, because this was on the heels of the breakup of Britney and Justin, and this whole Diane Sawyer interview, when you rewatch it, it's essentially Diane Sawyer making Britney out to be the devil who had hurt this angelic Justin Timberlake, right, to the point where she literally got Britney to cry. Now, Britney did an Instagram post about this a little while back, saying, you know, do we dare forget the Diane Sawyer interview in my apartment almost 20 years ago? What was with the you're in the wrong approach, geez, and making me cry? Like, no wonder Britney cried. Not only because of, you know, the relationship breakdown, the way Diane Sawyer was treating her, but Britney obviously had to also deal mentally with the fact that she underwent a termination of a baby that quite clearly, when you read the excerpt that's just been released, it sounded like she actually wanted, and that Justin Timberlake didn't. So my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, is that actually Britney was browbeaten, forced to undergo this termination when she really, really wanted to keep this child. She added, you know, in the Instagram post, seriously though, I lived in my apartment for a year and never spoke to anyone. My manager put that woman in my home and made me talk to her on national television, and she asked if I had a shopping problem. When did I have a shopping problem? So it goes on to, you know, the whole prodding Britney Spears about Justin Timberlake and the breakup, where, you know, Sawyer's told Spears at the time, you broke his heart. You did something that caused so much pain, so much suffering. What did you do? Well, do you know what? I would turn that around and actually ask Justin that. You broke Britney's heart. You did something that caused so much pain with this alleged termination, so much suffering. What the hell did you do? You went on a freaking radio show, announced to the world that you slept with her. You did the Crimea River video. You completely demonized Britney Spears after you broke up to build up on that your own solo career off of the back of Britney and her pain and what she was going through. That question actually should turn to Justin Timberlake. And to me, he shouldn't get off that easily whatsoever. Britney Spears also criticised her father, Jamie Spears, for, quote, forcing me to talk to Sawyer, given that she'd hardly been able to speak after a breakup, saying that I was a baby. And so, you know, Britney Spears was still young at the time when she was going through all of this. You've got an ex that's absolutely demonising her in the press, building off his solo career on her, and a child that she was forced to terminate, as far as I'm concerned, that she clearly wanted, but Justin didn't. And I think it was a combination of Justin, her father, her whole management team that pressured her into it. It is so sad.
And super sad. I mean, you can tell Britney really wanted Justin. Like everything I've heard, things I've heard about, that was the beginning of the end for her. It really sent her down this spiral. And it was the family and everybody and how they sort of treated her afterwards. That was a tremendous heartbreak for her from everything I've heard and read. And I'm looking forward to seeing this book. The Woman in Me comes out. It's next week now. It's coming out, guys. Yeah. We will obviously be giving you full updates on it all. But yeah, this is a bombshell report, and least, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays. Will people vilify Justin now? I mean, I do. I do credit him. I think this is more, while she acknowledges, look, they both made the decision. Like she did make the decision. And at the same time, it does really feel like, based on these quotes, that it was Justin who was really pushing forward. And, you know, that makes the decision for the mother that much tougher. Do you want to have this baby when the father is not supporting it and the father doesn't want it, right? It puts a much more pressure into doing what you maybe don't want to do. So yeah, shocking to hear this. And I knew we were going to hear something. This was not what I was expecting, Steph. I got to be honest. Nope. This puts things in a whole new perspective. And I imagine Justin is probably nervous about this being out there. Will he try to deny it? Will he just ignore it? He was very quick to speak about all of, Britney's privacy back then. But now when Britney's coming forward and admitting the truth and telling how heartbroken all this was, how traumatizing all this was, will he face it again and actually be a man and address this? It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But there it is, the first bombshell coming from The Woman in Me, Britney's new book, coming out, the 27th, next week, I believe, or soon, guys. And we will keep you posted. I hope we get this book sooner than later. We've requested it. As soon as we do, we'll begin the reading and update you on more of it. But there we go. Justin Timberlake, bombshell. My gosh, the love child of Britney and Justin. What could have been? I can't imagine. I do believe that's something that's constantly traumatizing her. I know that speak for a lot of families. I've been there. A lot of, you know, you don't always get every baby you have, right? It's a very common thing for parents. People got to deal with that. And it's a thing that you struggle with and you deal with of the babies you lost. And to know then that this is one of those things for Britney that's on top of all the other things that she's had to face trauma-wise, it's heartbreaking. So my heart goes out to Britney. Shame on you, Justin, yet again out there doing what you did at that time. I know he was young, I know, but still to know that he was pushing her through that privately and then publicly bashing her the way he was by shaming her. I just got no time for JT anymore, man. It makes me really disappointed. I don't know about you, Steph, but boo Justin, in my opinion. There we go. More coming, right? We got more in this book and more updates. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts, smash the like button. What do you think about this? Are you surprised by this bombshell? Do you think we're going to get more? Do you think she's going to dunk on him further? Or will this be the big money shot, if you will? Curious what your thoughts are. What else are we going to unpack in this book? The Woman in Me, up and soon. You can pre-order it all over the web. Go support Britney. It's time she finally has her voice, and I can't wait to hear it.
And on the screen right now are some videos you'll want to clickety-click, clickety-click.